Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my WWE Hell in a Cell 2018 review. I know I'm late on doing the video, but I didn't watch the show live because I was at the Kid Richards Fair and then I had to go out and do yard work when I got back. But I'm here to give you guys the review now because I just finished watching the show about 4 minutes ago. Um, and I was gonna wait until later on today because it's midnight now to do the review, but then I decided that I'm just not going to end up going to bed until um, within another half hour or so, anyways. So eh, why not just do the video, anyways? But let's talk about the show. I gotta say, this show I thought was going to be good, but then you have that like fear of WWE booking really messing everything up, and they kind of did in the end. But overall, I gotta say, I really didn't have any much issues with this show. Um, I overall enjoyed this show. I think this has probably been one of the best pay-per-views this year. I really which really isn't saying much because of the WWE pay-per-views have been lackluster lately, but I really enjoyed this show. Um, so I'm just gonna start off by talking about it. Before I talk about the show itself, I do want to talk about the fact that, and I'm gonna do ups and downs and thumbs in the middles about what I liked, didn't like, thought was okay. Um, but um, on Saturday, the WWE did a live Google Hangout of them building the brand new Hell in a Cell. And I gotta say, I don't like the new Hell in a Cell. It's just WWE, um, you know, it's WWE changing something that really didn't need to be changed. It's kind of funny how WWE won't change the creative direction, they won't change the writers, but they'll change something like the Elimination Chamber or the Hell in a Cell. I don't like the new cell, and I like the old cell better. I think the red cell looks stupid, and yeah, I don't even know why the WWE felt the need to do this 2 hour live stream of them building the Hell in a Cell. They're just in like a 2 minute fast warp of them building the Hell in a Cell. It really didn't make any sense to me, but whatever. So the new cell, Hell in a Cell, gets it down. But let's talk about this show itself. We had the preview show. It was hosted by Kathy Kelly and Mike Rome. And Kathy Kelly did an interview earlier in the day of Becky Lynch. It was really more of Becky Lynch talking about, how she was sick and tired of living under Charlotte Flair's shadow and talking about how tonight she's going to win the SmackDown Women's Championship from Charlotte Flair. Then you had Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler get interviewed, and I actually really liked this interview. I think this has got to be one of the best interviews on a preview show. I really enjoyed this. Um, Pretty much, what this was, you know, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler pretty much talked about the fact how they're going to defeat Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins tonight, and they said that they talked about how when Braun Strowman came out to cash in Money in the Bank on Roman Reigns, everybody cheered originally, but then when he aligned himself with Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, which is themselves, um, the fans booed them. They remember that they liked the Shield when Roman Reigns reunited with the Shield, and it was kind of, and he even talked about how they didn't even plan on having all those guys beat up the Shield. Everybody just ends up hating the Shield because Roman Reigns kept getting opportunity after opportunity at Brock Lesnar's WWE Universal Championship. And I really liked this interview. It actually felt like a shoot, and I liked it. And then obviously AJ Styles gets interviewed, and he talks about how he's not going to let Samoa Joe's mind games get to him. He talks about how his family should expect AJ Styles to be that ruthless when it comes to him wrestling matches, and sometimes he's going to get beat up himself. And that was pretty much the preview show. I actually enjoyed the preview show. I thought it was actually a nice watch, and there's still no need for it to exist, but overall, I thought this one was kind of really nice. It was kind of a nice little shoot interviews, and this was kind of like a dumbed down version of Talk and Smack. I especially loved Drew and Dolph's promo. If you guys never seen it before, definitely check it out. So I got to give this preview show an up. Then we have the pre-show. We have the panel of Jonathan Coachman, Paige, Booker T, Peter Rosenberg, and David Otunga. However, Booker T and David Otunga both took each other's places throughout the pre-show of the panel. And then on commentary was for the pre-show was Corey Graves, Tom Phillips, and Byron Saxton, who commentated all the SmackDown matches. And actually, I don't remember the first thing. I think the first Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose get interviewed, and they talk about pretty much how they're gonna win the Raw Tag Team titles. Basically, yep. And then we had I gotta make sure I get this right. I gotta get my notes here. Alexa Bliss gets interviewed, and she pretty much talks about how she's gonna, she has a game plan to take out Ronda Rousey, and she's going to exploit it. She talked about how she's an egomaniac, and I liked how when David Otunga went to ask a question, she just walked away from it. So I thought that was funny. Then we had the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. SmackDown Tag Team Champions Kofi Kingston and Big E with Xavier Woods ringside versus Rusev Day with Lana ringside. And this match I thought was a good kickoff match. The New Day come out and cut a promo talking about how they're the best tag team in WWE and how they've defended the tag team titles 4 years in a row at Hell in a Cell, which is actually true when you think about it. And they also talk about how they love the time of fall, and Big E said that it's voluptuous or something like that, pretty much doing a sex reference. And then the New Day go to do a pitch to Sin, but then Aiden English and the New Day get into a throat clearing contest, and Aiden English sings his typical Rusev Day song, and then the New Day start singing that they're going to still be the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And then we had the match. And I actually liked this match here, like I said. I thought this was a nice kickoff match. I was kind of a little bit mad with this match was on the kickoff, but when you saw every other match that was on the show, it actually made sense. But you had Rusev Day working together throughout this match, and then Big E made a hot tag. And this was really a face versus face match. Big E and Rusev went at it with each other, and Big E hit the spear on the outside onto Rusev, but then Aiden English tagged himself in. He has an implanted DDT onto Big E, but he ends up kicking out of it, which I kind of liked how Rusev Day had their hot spots, making us think they were going to win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Kofi Kingston goes for a dive on Rusev Day, but Rusev catches him with a kick to the head, and Kofi Kingston and Big E hit a Tower of Doom spot, but onto Aiden English, but Rusev breaks up the pinfall, and then Rusev Day, it looks like they're in control, but Aiden English tags himself in, and Rusev Day have a little bit miscommunication because of this, and Aiden English hits a splash onto Kofi Kingston, but Kofi kicks out, and then Aiden English, when he sees Rusev can't come to, puts Kofi Kingston in the accolade, and Kofi Kingston's able to fight out of it, but then eventually Rusev goes to charge at Big E, he pulls the rope down, and Kofi Kingston hits the Trouble in Paradise on Aiden English, and gets the win, but when Rusev tried to break up the cover, Big E held Rusev's foot, preventing him from getting there. Yeah, it was pretty much the match. I thought this was a good kickoff match. I'm going to give it 3 stars. And I was a little bit disappointed Rusev Day didn't walk out SmackDown Tag Team Champions, but I didn't really expect him to. And I hope this doesn't lead to the breakup of Rusev Day, so we'll have to wait and see. Then we had Mick Foley's interview. He's pretty much talked about his role as the referee for the Hell in a Cell match, And then Baron Corbin comes up, and they have like a little talk about him being the referee. And then Mick Foley says that since he was a former Raw GM, he can give Baron Corbin advice on how to be a GM, but Baron Corbin doesn't want to take it. So whatever. And that was pretty much the kickoff. Overall, I thought this was an enjoyable kickoff. I'll give it I'm gonna give it a thumbs in the middle though, depending on what happens with the SmackDown Tag Team Title match. So if I will make you guys a deal that if Rusev Day doesn't break up on this Tuesday on SmackDown, I'll give the kickoff an up. But if they do break up, it gets a down. So that's pretty much it. So then we had the real show itself. We had the commentary team of Corey Graves, Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton, Michael Cole, and Renee Young. And the first match on the show was a Hell in a Cell match, Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. I gotta say, this was a great match. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a hell of a way to open up the pay-per-view. It was a little bit, it did piss me off a little bit to watch this match, knowing that they changed the Hell in a Cell, but I still thought it was a great match. And I gotta say, too, I'm glad Jeff Hardy didn't do a big spot jumping off the cell or something like that, trying to kill himself. I was happy about that because the guy, has a little bit of a, the guy just is way too injured. His body just can't take that type of stuff anymore. But I'm not going to go over these matches spot for spot. I'm just going to kind of talk about the notable spots in this match. My favorite spots in this match was Jeff Hardy throwing Randy Orton into the cell and to the post. He actually bounced back and forth like a ping pong ball, where Orton went into the cell, then in the post, and then Randy Orton threw Jeff Hardy into the cell a ton of times. Randy Orton hit Jeff Hardy in the back with a chair. Jeff Hardy brought up a step ladder and hit Jeff Hardy with it. And Jeff Hardy drop kicked a table right into Randy Orton like it was a surfboard. And Randy Orton went to hit an RKO on a chair. Jeff Hardy countered it, and Jeff Hardy hit a poetry of motion off the chair right into the cell, which I expected that spot to happen at some point in the cell match. Jeff Hardy hit his typical moves, hitting a Hardiac arrest, which I don't think that's the name of the move, but that's what I'm going to call it until they actually get some moves right onto Randy Orton. And Randy Orton hit a sick superplex off the top turnbuckle. I thought it looked really cool. And then Jeff hits Randy Orton in the back with a chair a couple of times. He brings out another ladder, and he sets it up upside down. And he goes to suplex Randy Orton into it, but Randy Orton hits a suplex, hitting him up ribs first into the ladder. And then Randy Orton started statistically picking apart Jeff Hardy. He trapped him into a ladder and did the Orton stomps, which I thought was great. Then Randy Orton pulled out a screwdriver, and he did the whole thing where he like pulls at Jeff Hardy's ear right and stuck it right in his earlobe, and stuck the screwdriver right into Jeff Hardy's ear and like twisted it and stuff. It actually looked really gruesome, and I loved it. Which probably shows how sane I am. So Jeff Hardy logically fought out of this with a low blow, which I kind of like that twist there. And Randy Orton whipped Jeff Hardy with his belt, and Jeff Hardy started fighting back. He whipped Randy Orton with the belt, hit him with a chair, and then he hit the Twist of Fate and a Swanton Bomb while the chair was on him. And Randy Orton's leg ended up getting cut open, and Jeff Hardy made the cover. Randy Orton kicked out. And then eventually the finish comes when Jeff Hardy goes to go off, sets up like he's going to do the thing where he does the leg split, leg drop off the ladder like he used to do in the old TLC matches. But he realizes that the cell is prevents him from being able to do it. So instead he tries to swing off the Hell in a Cell and do the leg drop to the table. But Randy Orton moves out of the way, and Jeff Hardy ends up crashing through the table. And the referee sees that Jeff Hardy is hurt and has the cell get raised and wants medical attention to come out there. And Randy Orton wants to win the match, so he makes the cover, and the referee counts 3. And Randy Orton wins the match. overall, I enjoyed this match. Yeah, I enjoyed this match. I thought this was one hell of a Hell in a Cell match. At first, I was kind of questionable about the finish, but thinking about the finish, I didn't really hate this finish that much. I thought it was kind of like logical that the referee would react that way. I didn't really like that part of the match too much, but I kind of wish like the referee wouldn't have acted so dramatic and stuff and said Randy Orton could have just pinned him and then that was it. But overall, I didn't hate. It didn't really hurt my enjoyment of the match. If I had to rate this match, I thought this match was really good. I don't think it was quite a 4-star match, but it was pretty close. I'll give it 3 3/4. I really enjoyed this match. And then backstage, AJ Styles gets interviewed and pretty much says kind of the same thing he said on the preview show. Um, he also said on the preview show, I want to make sure I noted this, that he's not going to waste his time wrestling Samoa Joe. He's just going to go right after him, which I thought, which I'll get into what I thought that was going to lead to later on. Then we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match. SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. I'm not gonna go through this match spot for spot because I really wasn't feeling this match. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that the dynamics are just off with this match. Like I've talked about before, Becky Lynch should be the babyface and Charlotte should be the heel, and I just really wasn't feeling this match. It wasn't bad or anything, but it just I really couldn't suspend my disbelief because the WWE just messed this match up so much. But the finish comes when Becky Lynch gets Charlotte Flair into the disarmer. Charlotte Flair grabs the ropes and she goes on the outside, and then Becky Lynch puts it back in and just beats her with like a roll up. The finish was weird. Um, Charlotte Flair should have just tapped out to the disarmer, but whatever. Afterwards, Charlotte Flair tries to shake her hand with respect, but Becky Lynch doesn't want Charlotte Flair stealing her moments anymore, so she leaves. To which I say Becky Lynch is not a heel; she's still a babyface to me, so I don't like this. This match gets it down. I really wasn't feeling it. The first Hell in a Cell match will get it up. I enjoyed that. Then we had the New Day interview. Well, they were just backstage, and Benson dressed up as his Steve, like the Steve Urkel, whatever his name's supposed to be, I forget. And I feel bad for Booty'sworth because he just looks miserable being the butler of the New Day. And the New Day talk about how now that they've retained the SmackDown Tag Team titles, they're going to go on to Melbourne, Australia, and retain them against the Bar. This segment just had a lot of lame comedy in it, and I didn't like it. It gets it down. What doesn't make any sense about this is why is the Bar getting a SmackDown Tag Team title match when they haven't even won any matches and they just lost the tournament, so that just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'd be fine with them getting a match if they won like a Battle Royal on SmackDown this week or something, but they just announced the match. It just doesn't make any sense. Then we had the Raw Tag Team title match. Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre defending the titles against Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Best match on the show, I thought. I thought this match was great. Rollins and Ambrose dominate the first portion of this matchup, and then Ziggler and McIntyre get the heat on Dean Ambrose for a little bit, and then Rollins makes the hot tag, and Ziggler and McIntyre get the heat on Seth Rollins for a bit, well, for a long while, and Seth Rollins does whatever he can to try to get to the tag, but the heels are doing good tag team psychology, like distracting the referee when Rollins makes the tag. You think Ambrose is going to be able to come in and have this big wave of momentum, but referee doesn't see him make the tag, so he makes him go back to his corner. And McIntyre taking out the ref. I love the first Alabama slam that McIntyre hits on his opponents because he hit it on Seth Rollins here. I thought that looked really cool. Eventually, Seth Rollins is able to get the tag, and Dean Ambrose fires away on McIntyre and Ziggler, and he throws McIntyre into the post, throws Ziggler into the barricade, and Ambrose goes for the win a ton of times, but McIntyre and stuff keep kicking out, and this match was just really back and forth. I really enjoyed it. Rollins had a wicked cool Falcon Arrow, which looked really cool, and he hit a really cool buckle bomb. Ambrose a really cool butterfly suplex, a really cool elbow drop, the thing that he likes to do. McIntyre and Ziggler hit a super kick, like going for the reverse Alabama slam combo. Rollins went for a dive, but McIntyre and Ziggler caught him, and then Ambrose just ended up hitting the dive himself anyways. And this match just, I thought, was great. Eventually, the finish comes when Seth Rollins tags himself in, and he and Ziggler was the legal man, and he hits the suplex onto Ziggler, and then he goes for the Falcon Arrow, but McIntyre runs in and hits the Claymore kick, and Ziggler, who's still the legal man, gets his shoulder onto Seth Rollins and gets the win. And Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre retain the Raw Tag Team titles. I gotta say, I thought this match was great. It gets an up, and I thought it was the best match on the show. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Really nothing to say. I knew this would be great anyways. Now, if it was me, I wouldn't have had any of the Shield shit happen. I would have had Ambrose turn heel, either costing Seth Rollins the match or just attacking him afterwards. But because we got to win the Shield back, it didn't happen. But whatever. Then Braun Strowman's backstage, and Mick Foley's coming up and telling him that the Hell in a Cell could possibly change you, and all there was to do is to make the pinfall, but Braun Strowman scares him. And I like this segment. It was good. Gets an up. Then we had the WWE Championship match. WWE Champion AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. I thought this match was pretty good, actually. I think it was it was a little bit underwhelming, I guess, but I still thought this match was pretty good. And I think I thought this match was pretty good. I didn't hate this match. I thought this match was going to be a little bit better, but it was more of a story type match, and I like this match. AJ Styles immediately fires away on Samoa Joe and beats the crap out of him. He hits his soccer ball kick from the apron. He hits a drop kick, a baseball drop kick on the outside, and then when he goes for a dive on the outside, Samoa Joe kicks him in the knee, and the rest of the match is Samoa Joe working over the knee of AJ Styles. He throws him into the steps, and I liked the Samoa Joe just continued to get the heat on AJ Styles. AJ Styles eventually made a comeback, and one of my favorite spots in the match was when AJ Styles hit the rack bomb, which is a rack attack into a power bomb, which is a torture rack into a power bomb. I hate the name of that move, which I liked, and Samoa Joe hit a splash into an enziguri, and then Samoa Joe hit a really cool clothesline, which looked cool, and AJ Styles hit a springboard 450. He went for the Styles Clash, but Joe reversed it. Joe got him into a powerbomb into a Boston Crab, and this match I thought was pretty good. And then eventually the finish comes when Samoa Joe is just pretty much dominating AJ Styles. He's got him busted open and everything. And then eventually Samoa Joe goes for the Corkina clutch, but then AJ Styles rolls up Samoa Joe and gets the win. But Samoa Joe thinks he's won because AJ Styles tapped out. And when it shows you the replay, it shows AJ Styles actually tapping out. So so that was pretty much that. I like this match. I'm going to give this match an up. I like the finish just because I was worried the WWE was going to do like a DQ finish or have the match get thrown out, and I'm like, please don't do that because it just devalues this match a lot because they made the same mistake with Styles Nakamura. But I thought the finish was quite clever. Yes, they've done this finish before, but I liked this finish because this protected Samoa Joe, because this actually gives Samoa Joe a right to want a rematch, since he made AJ Styles tap out, and this AJ Styles still got to win the match. So I actually like this finish, because this is a reason to continue the feud. So I'll give this match an up, and I'll give it 3.25 because it wasn't quite a really good match, but it was still pretty good. Then the Miz and Maurice get interviewed, and they pretty much talk about how Brie Bella's just using this feud for PC for her outside interest, but she's gonna find out that all it is that's gonna backfire in her face. Then we had the Miz and Maurice versus Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella in a mixed tag team match. I thought this match was good actually. Daniel Bryan and the Miz wrestled a lot in this match, and I kind of liked how they utilized the story where they were having Maurice, where they were building to the point where Maurice was gonna eventually have to win and wrestle Brie Bella. So I liked that. Um, and obviously, too, Miz and Bryan just continued to have a great story with their matches, and they pretty much had about the same type of match they would have had at SummerSlam, just not as great as the SummerSlam match. And eventually, when Bryan lays out Miz, Maurice eventually, when Bryan lays out Miz. Sorry, I'm starting to get tired. Maurice gets tagged in, and Brie Bella gets tagged in, and eventually it leads to that big hot tag moment where Brie Bella wants to beat the crap out of Maurice, and eventually Bryan and Miz start to target, Bryan and Brie start to target Miz and Maurice, so Miz and Maurice are getting their asses kicked, so they're just gonna leave, but eventually Bryan and Brie go get him, and Brie is about to hit hits Brie on Maurice, gets the cover, but then Maurice reverses it, holds the tights, and gets the win. And I like this finish here. I know Maurice didn't really do anything in this match, so it kind of made Brie Bella look weak losing, but quite frankly, what does it matter? Brie Bella's not going to be there on a full-time basis, so I expect after Evolution she's going to be gone, so it really doesn't matter. And I kind of like this because this adds more layers to the story of the Miz Daniel Bryan feud, where the Miz consistently keeps beating Daniel Bryan no matter what. So I like this. I actually like this. This gets enough. This was a good match. I'll give it 3 stars, and I like the storyline of this match. And I hope it actually leads not at Super Showdown, but at WrestleMania. Miz is the WWE champion. Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble, and Miz finally beats Daniel Bryan. Sorry, Daniel Bryan finally beats the Miz at WrestleMania. I think that'd be awesome. Then we had the Raw Women's Championship match. Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey with Natalya ringside versus Alexa Bliss with Alicia Fox and Mickie James ringside. Um, this match I thought was really good. Ronda Rousey just continuously improves with every performance, with every match she has, and just every time she's on camera. So I got to give her props because I think a lot of people gave crap saying that this Ronda Rousey experiment wasn't going to work, and it's the WWE has produced a gold mine. Well, Ronda Rousey has really made it work. No matter if the WWE tries to book her like shit, she takes shit and turns it into gold. It's great. Um, and I think this is the longest match Ronda Rousey's had, and this is the longest time she sold in a match. And I actually really like this match. Pretty much it was about the type of match I expected it to be, but Ronda Rousey is just so damn good that she makes it work. I especially love the spot where Alexa Bliss was like doing that STO thing where she um looked scary at her opponent's face and like started roaring at Ronda Rousey, and Ronda Rousey just got right back and roared at her. That was awesome. And Ronda Rousey hits that Samoan drop, throw thin, and gets Alexa Bliss into the armbar and wins and retains the Raw Women's title. This match was really good. I'll give it 3.5 stars. Ronda Rousey's just um she's got to be the best wrestler out there right now. Um, she's really good. I don't really have anything left to say. And obviously, Ronda Rousey retaining was the right decision because Evolution is coming up, and Ronda Rousey being the champion makes sense because it's gonna increase the ticket sales. So yeah, and Alexa Bliss doesn't really need to be in the title picture anymore because she'll start to get stale. I don't know. I don't know where Alexa Bliss is gonna go. I know she's wrestling Trish Stratus at Evolution, but after that, it's TBD. I'm thinking maybe she should go face, but the thing is the Raw woman and just Raw in general is lacking in heels, so I don't even know if her going face would be the right choice. So we'll have to wait and see. Then, so yeah, I like that. That gets it up. Then we had Samoa Joe backstage, and he wants a rematch for the WWE title, so Paige grants him his rematch at WWE Super Showdown, and this time it's going to be no count out and no disqualification. This time there's going to be a winner. Now, what doesn't make any sense about this is, while this is probably going to blow off the feud, so I like this. This will get enough because Joe's delivery was great here. But what doesn't make any sense about this to me is why would no DQ, no disqualification match when the same finish could happen at Super Showdown? That kind of didn't really make any sense to me, but whatever. Then we had the main event. It was the Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Universal Championship. WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. This match was really good. Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman can never have a bad with each other. Well, they probably could if WWE really booked it like shit, but whatever. But you had the spots like Strowman hitting Reigns with the steps a ton of times, hitting the running power slam, and Strowman throwing him into the cell. Reigns hitting Strowman with a kendo stick, and Strowman just breaking it over his back. Reigns hitting Strowman with a chair, hitting a DDT on him, and it was a really good back and forth match. Eventually, though, it just all leads to the finish, and that's really what I'm going to talk about here. You've seen Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman wrestle enough, you kind of know what to expect from it. Roman Reigns spears Braun Strowman through a table, and he doesn't get the pinfall. So what happens is Dolph and Drew come out and try to get into the cell, but Ambrose and Rollins run out, and they get into this long fight with Seth and Drew. What I didn't like is that Reigns and Strowman took like this 20-minute nap. I didn't really like that, but whatever. And yeah, so we pretty much just had like a match of the Raw Tag Team title match, and Ambrose and Dolph and Drew all started fighting. They fought on top of the cell, and Rollins is being outnumbered, so Ambrose comes up and evens out the odds with a kendo stick, and Ziggler tries to get away from, and Ambrose and suplexes McIntyre on the cell, and then Ziggler tries to get away from Rollins, and then they both end up having a fight on the cell, and they both end up falling off the cell to the table, which obviously I expected that to happen. I knew someone was going through a table, and then we're gonna do that spot. I don't really like when they keep redoing that spot because it's just kind of like lazy in a Hell in a Cell match, but whatever. I didn't hate it, but it seems like they do that spot now every time there's a Hell in a Cell match. They did it in 2016, then they did it in 2017, then they did it in 2018, which is this year. And then Brock Lesnar's music hits, which I was surprised to see Brock Lesnar because I haven't really been reading the dirt sheets lately, mainly because we find sometimes that they're not true. And yeah, Brock Lesnar makes his return, which I didn't expect to see Brock Lesnar. I was pretty surprised. I was like, he's got this UFC fight coming up, and I didn't expect to see Brock Lesnar until the end of his run, but he was here. And he kicks the door down, which I thought was awesome. And he beats the crap out of Strowman and Lesnar with the pieces of the table that Reigns speared Strowman through, lays them both out with the F5, and the show goes off the air. Why? I don't know. They just ended the show like this with a no finish because this was a Money in the Bank cash-in match, and you didn't have a winner. And you can't really say, too, that Strowman failed his cash-in now because the match never ended. So I didn't like this at all. The referee comes off and waves off the match. So I have a feeling maybe Strowman's going to get his contract back because this makes no sense for Strowman to lose his contract cash-in like this. But I didn't like the finish of the show. I thought the finish of the show was WCW 2000 where they would just overbook things like that. I feel like all that needed to happen was someone should have just like rolled their arm over and pinned somebody, and then that would have been fine. Like Strowman could have, since he's the heel, could have just pinned Roman Reigns, and then that was the match right there. Reigns could have done the same thing to Strowman. Maybe like Brock puts Reigns' shoulder, since Reigns landed on top of Strowman, the referee could have just come down and make the count, and then Strowman could have a reason for a rematch, but this was just really dumb. To end a pay-per-view like that with no finish was really stupid. But and if I wasn't like as tired and stuff as I am, I'd probably rant about it more, but don't really feel like it. But overall, if I had to rate this show, I gotta give this show, I gotta say, this show actually was good. I don't think it was a great show, but actually, I really liked it. I gotta say, I like this show. I don't know how much I really, it's definitely a good show, but I don't know, it might be a really good show. I kind of, had a lot of fun watching this show. I liked the Randy Orton Jeff Hardy match. I liked the Raw Tag Team title match. There was really nothing bad on this show, except maybe the SmackDown Women's title match wasn't my flavor, but I still got Becky Lynch winning the SmackDown Women's title, and I gotta say, this was a pretty damn good show. Um, I'm gonna give it a B, just because I don't think it's quite a great B plus show. I think if the finish had been better, I would have given it a B plus. But this was, I thought, a really good show. I think a lot of people are gonna crap on it based on the finish, and I can understand why. Because it's an example where you don't end a show like that because it makes people going like, "What the fuck?" And I'm kind of like, "What the fuck?" Um, but quite frankly, um, I can't hate this. This it does. Um, See, a finish can ruin a show, and it kind of does here. Like this show easily maybe would have been a B plus. But I gotta say, um, I still don't like the new Hell in a Cell though either. I think if the Hell in a Cell was the old Hell in a Cell, I would have a different feeling. But you know what? You had some good matches on this show. You had some nice, and I like the way the show was booked, and I just like this show. I think if you had to ask me, I think this would be one of the best shows of the year, WWE wise, anyways. If I don't think it quite tops like any a takeover show, but out of the main roster shows, the best show is still probably the Royal Rumble. But it's got to be second best show of the year. Um, I think this show might be slightly better than SummerSlam. I know I gave it both the same grade, but had the finish not got down, I probably would have given this show a B plus. I really enjoyed this show. I just liked the way it was booked, and um, I liked it. I will admit the Jeff Hardy Randy Orton thing was a little bit over the top, but everything I just thought was booked fine on this show, except the main event. The main the main event was not booked that well, but everything else was fine on this show. So I was kind of expecting this show too not to be this good because of the fact that I expected this show to be more of a build-up show to Super Showdown, and it kind of was, but I thought I thought we had some nice, but I don't think the show was completely thrown under the bus as I thought it was going to be. So you know what, I like this show. So I'm just pretty much rambling, but that's just my thoughts on this show. Um, we all have our opinions, but I like this show. But I like this show. It's not. It's. I would say. A really good. I would say it's probably a really good show. Not a great show, but a really good show. It's definitely a B show. So I'm gonna give it a B. But pretty much my review of Hell in a Cell 2018. Leave you guys' thoughts and comments of what you. Leave your thoughts and leave your thoughts and comments down in the comments section below. It just shows you how tired I just got. And make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content. and click on the bell so that way every time you upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. And make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers and all the Talking 80 YouTube channels. That's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.